My fellow residents, members of council, and city staff, welcome to all of our honored guests as well. Thank you for being here. Before I begin, and I'm sorry to say on the one hand that it's a little bit of a long speech, but that's because we did a lot this year. But before I begin, I would like to comment on the fire that occurred at 125 Summit Avenue on Sunday morning, last Sunday. Fortunately, only 2 people suffered minor injuries, but the residents of 12 apartments lost everything. Our firefighters, Summit First Aid Squad, and the police were professional and swiftly rescued the residents and battled the fire. Pat Angelo, the manager of the Committed Pig, called in his staff and opened the restaurant for the Red Cross, who were assisting the victims in need. He kept them warm and comfortable. Pat did not open to the public that day, but rather kept the space quiet and reassuring for the residents. Pizza Vita also provided pizza, and the outpouring of support from the community has been tremendous. The Y is providing a major service by distributing donated clothing and gift cards to the fire victims. And lastly, the Other Fellow First Foundation has coordinated a fund to provide needed assistance to the victims. Please go to cityofsummit.org for information about donating to the fund. I would like to thank everyone who went above and beyond to help these fire victims. Tonight, it is my honor to stand before you as your mayor and report that 2017 was a year of achievement for Summit. Together, we made a strong city even stronger through the implementation of a number of thoughtful and fiscally responsible civic improvements. I am now at the midpoint of my term of office. Over the past 2 years, I have focused on the 2 areas I considered most important in protecting our current high quality of life: identifying opportunities to increase our tax base, thereby stabilizing the burden of our taxpayers, while preserving and enhancing the charm of our downtown, and using technological innovation to make it easier for people to live and conduct business in Summit. I believe we have made excellent strides in both of these areas, and we are poised to do even more in this regard over the years to come. The members of Common Council and I have worked diligently to move the city forward while keeping an ever-present eye on the bottom line. As in 2016, we worked together, regardless of party affiliation, for the benefit of our residents. 3 members of Common Council are being honored tonight as they retire, and 3 newly elected council members will join us on the dais. I am confident that the 2018 Common Council will work together to accomplish great things, and that Council's tradition of robust debate and healthy discussion leading to thoughtful outcomes will continue this year. There is much to celebrate when it comes to our downtown, to our city's overall health. I'm going to start with the downtown. Excuse me. As many of you have probably noticed, our downtown is flourishing. Several new businesses opened this year, reflecting the modern economy, which is focused on a mix of experiences and traditional retail. Our retail vacancy rate is under 4%, and the landlords of the larger vacant spaces are actively recruiting tenants. Simultaneously, the Planning Board is working toward a recommendation for more flexible ground floor space usage in the downtown in order to attract a wider variety of tenants. Our goal must be a user focus that draws people into our business district through events on the green, flexible gathering spaces such as the parklet, outdoor music, and similar experiences. Summit is a destination community in our area, and we will continue to work with Summit Downtown Inc. and other community leaders to build upon that reputation. It is an honor to attend each ribbon-cutting ceremony, and I look forward to many more businesses coming into our downtown in the current year. Permitting. The construction office continues to be one of the busiest offices in City Hall. In 2017, revenue was $1.3 million, up 46% from 2015. Thousands of permit applications are processed each year, and the code office made over 10,000 inspections in 2017. That's a lot. I am very happy to report that after much research and testing, an online building and construction permit portal was launched on January 2nd. This innovation allows residents to track a permit applicant's progress, research property information, and obtain Open Public Records Act data, simplifying communication and resulting in fewer trips to City Hall. Additional features will be added later this year to make the service even more user-friendly. This practical and cost-effective service is a direct response to those in the community who called for a better way to do business with our city. We are proud of this first step, and we are committed to making the permitting process nearly seamless going forward. Public-private partnerships. One theme of the past year has been nurturing and improving our public-private partnerships. Our ability to harness the power of our local corporate citizens, civic organizations, and nonprofits and businesses is a true strength of our city. As a fiscally responsible municipality, we cannot provide the level of services that citizens demand and expect without these critical partnerships. While it is impossible to acknowledge all of our partners, large and small, I must mention Celgene and Investors Bank for their generous support of the Community Center project. Investors Bank launched the fundraising with an initial gift, and Celgene was crucial in getting us to the finish line. We are fortunate to have this level of corporations enriching our life in Summit. The original Community Center building, nearly 55 years old and heavily used, needed significant repair, to the extent that simply addressing the existing issues would not have been a cost-effective solution. We broke ground on the new building this fall and expect to complete it in about a year. When the $6.5 million project was approved, the council challenged our community to raise $1.2 million in additional funds as a public-private partnership. I am very proud of the residents and corporate sponsors who stepped up to the challenge, raising nearly $1.5 million. The new building will have a dedicated senior lounge, a full-size gym, and several other features that will enable more residents to take better advantage of the many programs offered by the Department of Community Programs. During the construction, the DCP offices have been moved to Cornog Fieldhouse at Memorial Field, and DC programs are being held at various locations in the houses of worship and community facilities. I want to thank these houses of worship and these community organizations for helping to house these programs while the construction is going on. Excuse me. An additional collaborative opportunity that we have successfully nurtured this year is our relationship with Union County. Throughout last year, I met with members of the county government in an effort to get to know them and to determine where we can be of help to each other. I am pleased to report that the county is paying for the returfing of Glenside Field, a cost of approximately $500,000, and it provided grants in the amount of $150,000 to the Community Center project. Additionally, in the midst of the controversy regarding mountain biking in the Watchung Reservation, the Union County freeholders were very responsive to my calls and the concerns of our residents. I believe they better understand the needs of our community, but more importantly, they understand the need to support Summit. And I am confident that we will continue to improve this relationship in 2018. Road and sewer work. Another theme has been the completion of some crucial capital projects. Maintaining and improving our infrastructure is crucial to resident safety and public health. And while this work is not generally very exciting, one particular project did bring smiles to many residents and commuters, and that was the reconfiguring of Springfield Avenue and the addition of a sidewalk on the north side of the street. For far too long, easy access to Springfield Avenue from Eastern Broad Street and Morris Avenue was not available. Now, thanks to the vision and hard work of the Department of Public Works and our city engineers, pedestrians can walk safely into downtown. DCS also oversaw 10 other projects, including micropaving and repaving Blackburn Road, Summit Avenue, Elm and Maple Streets. DPW completed several other projects, including paving projects, and which saved our taxpayers over $100,000. Additionally, we completed several drainage and sewer projects. Most of us only notice road work, but with miles and miles of sanitary and storm sewers and thousands of sanitary and storm structures, a significant portion of the city's infrastructure is underground. As I said, these projects are not exciting, but good stewardship of our physical surroundings is a hallmark of what makes Summit such a well-run and desirable place to live. Now, I obviously cannot talk about road work without addressing the Morris Avenue Bridge. Every day, someone asks me a question about the bridge. New Jersey Transit began this major capital project in August of 2015, and they currently estimate completion this coming spring. Because the bridge crosses a busy commuter train line, much of the construction in the first year could only be done between 2 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. On top of that, Governor Christie shut down work on state projects for 4 months, thus delaying the project. I know this disruption has been arduous for many of us, but the spirit of forbearance by the residents and commuters has really been remarkable. By spring, we should have a rather raucous ribbon-cutting ceremony. While it is important to maintain and improve the city's infrastructure, we are always mindful of the demands upon our taxpayers. I am happy to report that we have kept our tax increase under 1% for each of the past 2 years, as thoughtful stewardship allows us to continue to improve our financial health. We face many pressures on our budget, and Council has endeavored to keep taxes as low as possible. I am committed to continuing to work with Council to develop a stable budget this year. We are fortunate to have city staff and council members who are committed to innovative approaches in finding revenue and mitigating negative tax implications. In this era of reduced state aid and a school funding formula that barely assists towns like ours, our constant vigilance is critical. In the last few years, we have challenged all of our departments to become more efficient. They are aware that innovation is a defining characteristic in their success. We have continued success in finding ways to reduce our costs. Recently, the city entered into an agreement with New Providence and Berkeley Heights to consolidate our municipal courts. This consolidation will save the city an average of over $100,000 annually over the next 5 years. We have also completed the successful integration of shared state-of-the-art 911 dispatch services for New Providence, Milburn, and Summit. Our efforts to partner with our surrounding communities to increase efficiencies and decrease costs will continue in the years to come. In other news regarding innovation and increased governmental efficiency, in 2016, we introduced a redesigned website, and in November of 2017, Rutgers University and the New Jersey State League of Municipalities recognized the website and our social media with a Best-in-Class award. Our traffic continues to grow, and this past year, we often exceeded 23,000 visits a month, reaching and engaging thousands of citizens. On a sober note, as we discuss taxes, it is important to note that we have worked collaboratively with 2 of our largest corporate and nonprofit neighbors regarding their tax obligations. In July, the city and the Atlantic Health Systems agreed to a community service contribution of $5.5 million in annual installments through 2023. Overlook Hospital is a valued asset to our residents, and we deeply value our relationship as good neighbors. This settlement recognizes our joint partnership. We also successfully negotiated a long-term agreement with Celgene on the assessed value of its West Campus. When Celgene purchased this property, the assessed value did not reflect the current market value, and thus a reduction in taxes was necessary. As a good neighbor, Celgene agreed to phase reduction in its tax assessment in order to reduce the immediate impact on the city's tax base. On the good news front, Celgene has development plans for the West Campus. City officials and I, along with the planning board, will work with Celgene in finalizing their plans. I am happy to report that these plans will eventually help to offset current tax reduction as well as create jobs. We're very fortunate to live in a city that offers first-class services and amenities, which we both enjoy and have come to expect. Increasing our asset base is an important factor if we want to hold the line on taxes. We have a strong residential rateable base that has shown positive incremental growth in recent years. In 2017, we experienced an increase in construction value of 28%. But, given the tax reduction negotiated with Celgene, we must look at other ways to increase our tax base. One of these is thoughtful redevelopment in transitional areas of our downtown, which brings me to the West Broad Street corridor. As you probably remember, we engaged in a robust and exhaustive master plan re-examination process in 2016. One of the clearest mandates that arose was a need for balanced redevelopment. The national housing market now places a premium on the ability to live within walking distance of a vibrant town center with proximity to shops, restaurants, places of work, and mass transit. And we are uniquely positioned to take advantage of this trend because we're a transit hub, 20 miles from New York City, with a thriving downtown and an excellent school system. As a result, we identified untapped potential in the area bordered by West Broad Street and Morris Avenue. A recommendation was made that we consider whether this West Broad Street corridor could qualify as an area in need of redevelopment, which is a designation that allows the city to offer tax incentives to potential developers. Over the past year, our planning consultants thoroughly researched this issue, speaking with all of the landowners and the stakeholders in this area. After due consideration and review, the planning board recommended to council that indeed this area could be redeveloped. There are multiple benefits to redeveloping the West Broad Street corridor. First, one of the major entryways into our city would gain the visual charm and bustling street life that epitomizes Summit, and which this area currently lacks. In addition, a thoughtful mixed-use development combining residential and commercial space with parking would provide a needed boost to our downtown economy, which has had to adapt to a drastically changing commercial landscape. Finally, we can offer an array of housing options that we know are in high demand by our young seniors, our working families, such as public safety workers and teachers that serve our community, as well as our empty nesters, while also including some of our court-mandated affordable housing units. We can be good neighbors while enjoying the benefits that have come with the mix of people of all ages and stages of life living in our town center. This mix would add to the vibrancy of our downtown, increasing our volunteer base and our social capital. And finally, there is significant economic benefit. Redevelopment will create new sources of rateable income that will put our city on firm footing for decades to come. This is just a rough outline of possibilities for this area. During the next few months, we will engage residents and business owners in a comprehensive discussion about the optimum character of development, in a process that will resemble the one we used for the master plan reexamination. I encourage everyone to take time to be involved in this process, to make the project reflect the best of our community. We need your ideas. So please stay tuned, and you'll hear about meeting dates in the next few weeks. Police. Last year, the Common Council approved the Summit Police Department's recommendation to reestablish a traffic unit. This unit has been operational since the spring, and while their duties include educating citizens as to the rules of the road, analyzing traffic patterns, and continuing traffic studies, its main function is to enforce moving violations when necessary. To date, they have written over 1,200 summonses to motorists who are not heeding the rules of the road, particularly in speeding and distracted driving. Unfortunately, many of those summonses have been issued to Summit residents. We must all be more careful, as well as be role models, as we navigate our Summit roadways. We installed the first ever four-way stop at the intersection of Pine Grove Avenue and Blackburn Road, and the Public Safety Committee has discussed installing speed humps on certain roads in town where speeding is a common occurrence, and the education and enforcement operations have not changed the behavior of motorists. Every member of council and I have received complaints about speeding in town, some perceived and some a reality. And we are determined to take whatever steps necessary to address this and decrease speeding issues that occur in our city. While the police and city's engineering department can educate, enforce, and redesign roadways and intersections for safe travel for pedestrians and motorists alike, it is incumbent upon each of us to travel with deliberation and focus, whether by car, on a bike, or on foot. Fire. We have an outstanding fire department, one that is so well trained that their work literally saved lives just last week. And they were again battling another fire last night. The fact is, we are grateful for their work in battling fires, but we really do not want them to have to do that again. But they undoubtedly will. And it is our responsibility as stewards of this city to make sure that they are as well trained and well equipped as they need to be. Training is a big part of a firefighter's duty, and Council has supported our firefighters in this regard. In 2017, the department also welcomed Ladder Truck 1, a major piece of equipment that was purchased because it was more cost-effective to buy a new truck than to make significant repairs to the old one. Parking, a favorite topic at Summit. The parking utility has embraced the use of innovation with several offerings to increase revenues, address our downtown parking shortage, and improve the parking experience for residents. In 2016, we pioneered the promotion of ride-sharing as a way to free up parking in the downtown. This year, after surveying users, we have expanded and enhanced the program. We have changed vendors, replacing Uber with Lyft in order to offer scheduled pickups, and we created a pickup location right in front of the train station. The parking utility also launched a license plate recognition system that streamlines how people pay for parking, and it uses technology to increase efficiency in terms of collection and resources. We installed pay stations and removed parking meters in half of the downtown this year, and we will be completing the other half in 2018. Although this system is in wide use in neighboring towns, making the transition has not been without hiccups, particularly for some of our older residents. In response to concerns, we held a workshop at the library where the head of the parking utility and her staff demonstrated the system. Technological innovations are important, but we must be ever mindful of the needs of our citizens who are not tech savvy. Many of you have heard me say that Summit's best asset is its people, and that continues to be true. Tonight we recognize the many men and women who have volunteered on many boards and committees. They are all committed to making Summit the best it can be, and their hours of service are invaluable. We are committed to engaging even more citizen volunteers to help create a plan for the future of our city. We are fortunate to have community members who have tremendous talent and are willing to share their expertise. Having been your mayor for 2 years, I'm here to tell you that in addition to the strength of our volunteers, our paid professionals, the men and women who work for the city, are top-notch. They are focused on their jobs. They want to do their jobs well, and they care deeply when things go awry. Much of the innovation that I have discussed tonight is the result of the hard work and creativity of these individuals, and I want to thank all of them. Sadly, we lost a wonderful colleague last year with the sudden death of Detective Matthew Tarantino on May 30th. His death was a shocking blow to his fellow officers in the Summit Police Department, to every person who works in the city of Summit, and to the thousands of Summit men, women, and children who knew and respected Matt. His unbridled love of life, people, and his job endeared him to everyone he met. In an unprecedented outpouring of love and generosity, our community came together to honor and support Matt's family. We have embraced his wife, Vicki, her 2 boys, and their baby sister with our support. I have often said of Matt that he understood the rules of civility and that he knew that those rules applied not only to the people he served, but to him as well. He set a wonderful example to all who encountered him, and we miss him every day. I want to finish by extending my sincere thanks to Dr. Robert Rubino and Patrick Hurley who are stepping down after 6 years on council. Both gentlemen have given countless hours to the city at council meetings, committee meetings, and engaging residents all over town. You have made strong contributions to our city, and I am grateful for your hard work and dedication. I have truly enjoyed working with you. I also want to thank Richard's son, there he is, who is stepping down at the end of his 2-year term as councilman at large. Richard brought energy and a fresh perspective to his tenure, and I know we have all enjoyed his presence on council, and I'm sure we will see him back in town again. I want to welcome Beth Little as the new council at large representative, Matt Gould representing Ward 1, and Marjorie Fox representing Ward 2. You all have worked hard in the recent election, and I look forward to serving Summit with you. Again, it has been a great pleasure working with the 2017 council. It has truly been an honor and a privilege. And finally, I want to thank the residents of Summit for being caring, upstanding, and engaged citizens. And some of you are here for your first meeting. Working together, we can ensure that Summit will continue to be a wonderful place to live on a firm financial foundation, flexible enough to take advantage of technological innovations and cost-saving practices, and visionary enough to meet any challenges that the future may bring. Thank you and Happy New Year.